Thank you. So, so let's continue with our journey. We finished session 3. So we start today with chapter 4. This is post office days. But before that, let's just start with a message. Okay, let's start with the Meher Baba's couplets. Ashok is not there. Mama ji, you want to read?
Yes.
Sure, please. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
Avatar Meher Baba ki jai. The three of Meher Baba's favorite couplets of Hafiz, a mystical Persian poet. Befitting a fortunate slave, carry out every command of the master without any question of why and what. About what you hear from the master, never say it is wrong, because, my dear, the fault lies in your own incapacity to understand him. I am slave of the master who has released me from ignorance. Whatever my master does is of the highest benefit to all concerned. Hafiz. Avatar Meher Baba ki jai.
So, as corrected by Neha ji, it's Hafiz.
Yeah.
Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Hafiz, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Hafiz.
correct. Kama, you were saying something about Hafiz during our brief call when we got cut off. Do you want to talk about it?
What was the top
No,
subject?
when you were
I mean,
referring when you were referring to Bhav's book.
oh, Babu's book. Yeah. Yesterday I was reading The New Life because, the Hyderabad group is organizing this New Life tour from October 15th to October 18th. And I was reading this book of Meher Baba's New Life by Babu Culture. It's a blue book, thick. And so there was a saying here that Hafiz said, separation and union are none of your business. Seek only to resign yourself utterly to the will of the beloved.
Beautiful.
So even asking for love from Baba should not be there. You should not ask for anything because, as you know from the essay Lover and the Beloved, to attain union is impossibly difficult because it is impossible to become what you already are. Union is nothing but the knowledge of oneself as the only one. So that is why this saying, separation and union are none of your business. Seek only to resign yourself utterly to the will of the beloved, which I also think is given in the chapter on God as infinite love, where Baba talks about the different forms of love. So, lust is the lowest form of love in the gross aspect. Then you have longing when you go into the subtle world using a subtle body. And then in the third, in the fifth and sixth plane, in the mental plane, it's complete surrender. Even longing is not there. So that is why seek only to resign yourself utterly to the will of the beloved. So there is a quote by Osho. He said, self-realization is like winning the lottery ticket. So, and also Baba said, intense longing, intense effort, infinite patience. It might take billions of years, but you should be resigned to the will of the beloved. So, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
I think that's a good
morning. Yeah. This morning I was reading just a trivia on Delia Leon's diaries which are got published in the Globe, and she mentioned that Baba asked her to read out Hafiz to him. No, it was not just Baba's couplets. He used that Hafiz literature uh, for his lovers to read out to him when she was here in 1948 before the new life. Yeah. Other thing that I got from that article was that she was the one who first wrote God Speaks from Abdul Ghani's notes, which was in the handwritten form, and then the first manuscript in a typed form came out. She was asked because everybody, all ladies were given different responsibilities, and she was the one who was typing it. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. So I forgot to send out those reminders on WhatsApp, right? So which I did for the last couple of weeks. So let me do that. And why don't somebody
Actually, Karthik,
start? Yeah,
Jai Baba Karthik. So once
yeah.
I heard from another Baba lover in Bangalore that
Mm-hmm.
when this reminder or that meeting link is not sent, typically it was assumed that the session was not happening. So
Ah, okay.
I,
Okay. So let me.
so
No,
I
you can't.
did confirm
that,
that
that
it's a regular
we
thing.
get so tuned to the reminders that our
No,
all biological reminders are put to rest.
So
no.
Jai
So
Baba.
unfortunately, I am like that as well. So I depend a lot on reminders and
Okay, okay.
uh, free up my mind space and leave digital to hell. But
Okay, okay.
it just hit me that some of the people that used to come in are not here now, and maybe I should just send a reminder. Why don't somebody start reading, and I do that on all the channels. Yeah. Avtar Meher Baba ki jai.
Yeah,
Who wants to read?
Jai. Let me read.
take
Yeah.
Sure, Jai Baba. Please go ahead.
Okay. Post office days, late 1924 to end of 1926. Near the end of 1924, Baba returned to Mehrabad and he called us, the first woman, to join him permanently there. We, my mother, myself, Naza, Big Khorshid, and Small Khorshid, and from time to time, Daula Masi, stayed in the post office building near the railway line. This building was a post office during the First World War when as I have said, what is now Mehrabad had been a military training camp built by the British. By the way, this was the building which was later demolished and the tomb shrine was constructed. There's a story
Yeah,
by
the
Iraj on
stones.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
stones of
all the
these are
stones.
used, and I think
Yes,
that's mentioned here, if I remember right. So I remember very clearly. I've read this book in NPR maybe
okay,
11
okay,
years back. Yeah.
okay. Most of the military
Yeah.
buildings there were not built to last, but the post office had been. It was such a strong, well made building with thick walls of big black stones. It had one good sized room, and there were verandas on the south and east sides. There were windows only in the south and north walls, and they had bars on them. The British had built it close to the railway line so that the mail bags could easily be taken on and off trains as they passed by. Later, as it was no longer being used as post office, the railway authorities ordered it to be pulled down, and we felt very sad about that. But I am told that the stones from the post office walls were used to build Baba's Samadhi. Now we loved the post office. How we loved the post office. It was there that so many things happened for the first time with Baba. I had Baba's darshan there for the first time. I first heard Baba sing there in his lovely voice. Baba had his bath there and he had his tea and his food there. Baba had slept there, and the villagers of Arangaon first came to know of Baba and have his darshan there. P62. So that place was sacred to us. Oh, beautiful. Next page, please.
Yeah, yeah.
These were first days. These very first days were so special to us. Only three of the men Mandali were there with Baba, Gustadji, Padri, and Masaji. And Baba slept with them on the post office veranda on the windowless east side facing the road. It was now the beginning of winter, and the veranda was open to the chilly east breeze. Baba had no bed, just a thin mattress on a mat on the floor, and he would feel so cold at night that he could not sleep. Baba also had no mosquito net, and a snake or a scorpion could have easily crawled into his bedding for warmth. As Baba could not sleep, he would be sitting up by 3:30 a.m. with his blanket wrapped around him, and at about 5 a.m. Baba would wake the Mandali. However, however deeply they were sleeping, Baba would take his sandal and throw it at one of them. He especially loved to aim for Masaji, who would wake up, see Baba's sandal, and feel very happy. Masaji would get up, kiss Baba's sandal, and give it back to him. We girls were sleeping very comfortably on our bedding rolls inside the post office room, and here was Baba, the king of kings, sleeping in the open with no proper bedding. Now, in the night at Mehrazad, I think of Baba and remember all these details, how Baba used to give others comfort and go without it himself. How dense we were. Here, here were we girls feeling so cozy inside, while Baba was so uncomfortable outside. But we could not tell Baba to use the room. We girls could not have slept on the veranda, so Baba had to be outside with the Mandali. He went through all that discomfort. Our food was very simple. In the morning, we, including Baba of course, had only weak tea, and we girls got up very early to get it ready. I have never liked getting up early, and when I came to stay with Baba, that was one thing that was difficult for me. We could be up by 5 or earlier to prepare Baba's tea, and by 5:30 we could hear him coming to us singing in his beautiful voice. We had a little wood fire outside the veranda for cooking our food, but we made the tea on a kerosene stove inside our room as Baba did not like the taste of wood smoke in his tea. The tea was very weak, made with a little fresh mint, lemongrass, and only a pinch of dried tea leaves. We had sugar in it, but no milk, as well as no chapatis, no butter, and no bread. This weak tea was our only breakfast. I would give Baba his tea on the east veranda, where he would be sitting on a packing case and chatting with the Mandali, and Naza or my mother would give the Mandali theirs. Baba's tea was served in a big aluminium mug, and this same mug Baba used for washing his face, having his bath, and for drinking water.
That's the
Oh, post
the old
office.
photograph. Yeah,
Yes.
but the hill doesn't look
I-
so prominent now, right? From the topographical
Yeah.
view, if you look at it from the road, the hill surely doesn't look so obvious and prominent,
Yeah,
right?
actually, I think because of trees, there are so many trees which have now grown up, so you
Hmm.
don't get a real view of the hill. You just that's
Yeah.
my take. Yeah, and there is a plank there which they have put. Ted
Yeah,
has
there is
put
a
a
plaque.
plank. Yeah,
There is a
plaque
there is
there.
a plaque. There is a plaque which
Yeah,
is view. Yeah.
this is the
So
place this was there.
correct, correct.
Wow. So let me
The
read what is
caption.
written.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, a view of the post office Mehrabad as it was when Mehra first had Baba's darshan here there. The east veranda without windows is where in 1924 Baba slept while Mehra and the other women mandli inside. Mehrabad Hill is in the background beyond the railway line. Photograph taken from model. What's model? Okay.
What's model? Yeah, that's not clear, right?
This is not the actual image.
Oh, do you think so? Okay, maybe.
Hmm.
Then
Maybe.
then the hill mystery is solved because obviously the hill doesn't look as high when you see it with
They
the naked eye.
they have constructed the photo
A
just for us to
model, yeah.
understand. A model has been put on this black and white photograph just for us to
No.
understand.
I think it's the other way around. They created a model which has been photographed. So this is a tiny scale model
Yeah.
which has been photographed afterwards, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Go down a bit.
Next
Yeah.
page.
When we served him tea, it was freshly made and steaming hot. So Baba's aluminium mug would be too hot for him to put his lips. My mother noticed this and she taught us to put Baba's mug of tea in half a pail of cold water to cool it to the right temperature before serving it to Baba. It was just the dire necessities, and all our utensils were either brass, aluminium, or enamel. Baba had told us that everything was to be unbreakable, for we could not be able to replace anything. For lunch, we had rice and spiced dal, and in the evening, we had rice and plain dal. A little later on, a little later on, Baba let us made curry and rice too. As a child, I was very fond of meat and fish. I did not like vegetarian food at all, but Baba made me forget all about meat. It was very young. I was very young, and with just weak tea without milk as our breakfast, I would be so hungry that I eagerly looked forward to very nice to our rice and dal. Same the story with Money before she came to Baba, stay with Baba. There is a audio recording of her on the Mandli Hall talks, which she talks about her liking for cutlets and at her mother's place in Pune and how she adjusts herself to rice and dal, plain dal, no tadka,
Yeah.
nothing, just boiled one. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's a beautiful talk. Yeah, Baba, who was very
No. Yeah. You have to
okay. I
start
I
from
have to
Naga.
first paragraph. Naza
Yeah.
cooked the rice and dal on the wood fire on the veranda, and I helped her by washing pots and pans and grinding the spices. It is not so easy to grind spices on a stone. Dry coconut and coriander seeds are particularly hard, but I would try to make them very, very fine, especially when Baba allowed us to make curry, for finely ground spices make the curry very smooth. Baba, who was young then, would get very hungry after having only weak tea at dawn and then working hard with the mandli. He came for his lunch as early as 9:30 and for his evening dal and rice at 4 or 5. Baba made the fire, Naza made the
Naja.
fire and put the dal on early so that it would be ready for Baba. And when he came in, he would call not Naza, but Nazan so
Nazari.
sweetly to her Nazari. Okay. So sweetly to her. Nazari, what's the time? Is the food ready? And Naza would say, Baba, the dal is just ready, but the rice isn't quite. Baba would reply, never mind. I don't want rice, just dal. For meals, Baba sat on his little rug on the floor near the fireplace on the veranda, and I would serve him his food in his brass plate. We were so new and unaccustomed to staying with a master that we did not have the sense to take our sandals off. We served Baba still wearing them. Now I remember these little things. Baba must have thought that we were very ignorant, but Mani says Baba wanted us to be like that. That very clever people might have argued too much and made his work more difficult. With his food, Baba would sometimes ask for bread. Gulmai would bring it for Baba from Ahmednagar when she visited him. Just a small loaf that we would try to keep fresh by wrapping in a cloth and keeping in a saucepan. The bread would become a little stale, but Baba would break it into small pieces and put it in the dal. Baba always broke bread, he never cut it. And seeing Baba eat, we would feel hungry too. We girls were still a little shy with Baba. We peeped at Baba from a distance, but we were not bold enough to talk to him unless he spoke to us. And Baba was strict with us. Baba had told me not to read or write, so I could not even take down the things that he told us. He had brought some of my favorite books with me in a trunk. I had bought, okay, David Copperfield and others to share with the girls, but I quickly sent them back to my sister in Ahmednagar and I never saw those books again. I was also not to touch or speak to any men, and the food that I prepared was given only to Baba or later to the school children, but not to men. Ustadji was the exception to these rules. His storeroom was on one of the post office verandas, and Baba sent him to us for messages. Even Baba himself seldom entered our room. He would take his meals and tea on the post office veranda. And there were many other little orders even in the beginning. For example, we were to wear warm jackets in the evening, and as I have said, keep our heads covered with white scarves. We would come onto the veranda to cook, and in those very early days, go to the well to wash our clothes. Otherwise, I was mostly inside our room. We did not roam about outside, and Mehrabad hills in those days were completely out of bounds for all.
Okay, let's rotate the reading. Before that, we can
Yeah.
even pause for a bit to check if any comments are coming in.
So my daughter used to ask me the question, why so much restriction was on the Mehera? What was the reason?
Okay.
So miss, I don't have specific answer, but I used to say maybe for the future or maybe for the humanity. So nowadays the woman can do whatever they, it's like it's a woman empowerment or like it's equality, right? Might be because of that. That was the thing. Baba work on the Mehera. So I give this answer, but if you guys have some like heads up on that part, it will be good.
So play that answer a little more, right? So why did you think the restrictions actually helped women empowerment? So what he was doing was the opposite of what was expected. What
No,
was the
because
logic for your
yeah,
answer?
thought was like that. initially those were the days, right? Those days, like women was always like
Not
inside the
equal.
home, yeah,
Hmm.
not equality and all. And after that only the things got
J-
changed, right?
Hmm.
After
Jai
that,
Meher Baba.
yeah, Meher
Sure,
Baba.
Neha.
Can I join?
Sure, of course.
Even I have this question from a very long time, that why Baba has so many restrictions for Mehra, especially for her. She can't even cook for anyone or write or even read anything. So recently, I was reading Anna Khandaleji's book. Uh, Universal, this new book has come up, and he had explained it very beautifully, that Baba need some innocent blood for the West, for his work, you know. So, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello.
absolutely. Please go ahead.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
yes,
please
so,
go
yes.
ahead. Yes, yes.
for his accident,
Ah,
Elizabeth was there. Elizabeth was there. Baba, of course, and Mehra. So this three, very important, different source of energy or blood, you can say, was on the West. So something like that, and it was very beautiful. That explanation made me realize that why Baba, just kept her like that and used her for her universal work, for the West accident, for this what you call it, uh, first accident,
yes. No,
Oklahoma. Yeah,
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 first
yeah.
accident was in
Oklahoma.
US.
Oklahoma.
Yeah,
Yes,
Oklahoma.
56.
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes,
Yeah,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Yes.
so that was the
56.
reason. That was his explanation,
Hmm.
which was which really touched me, and I felt, yeah,
Yeah,
that may be probably the reason. So
yeah. One
Because
reason that I can think of is Baba was
one
using,
more.
sorry, Baba was
Hmm.
using, okay, Ravi,
One
you come
second.
in first. Yeah.
No, Mahu
No,
has her
go,
hands
go,
up.
Sanjay ji, just go ahead. I'll come
So
after you.
I,
Please
I'll
please
I'll
go.
I'll
Yeah,
moderate.
yeah, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
Can I moderate? So let it be Sanjay ji, followed by Mahu, followed by Ravi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
Baba was using Mehra for half of the humanity, and that was her reflection of himself in a woman form, as Maya. And as you know, just before Baba dropped his body a year before, on 31st of January 1968, he he exposed Mehra to the rest of the world. You know, so that's my take on this. Mehra was a channel basically of his own persona uh, for his universal work.
Yeah.
Mahu. Yeah, fair enough. I think good point. I mean, all of these are right? So what Nehaji said is right. What probably Ashish said is a result. It's an outcome, right? The outcome is what we are seeing today. Uh, but again, I don't have a clear answer, but I am also intrigued by that, right? Mahu, you want to go again? You want to go?
Yes. So Baba about his Mandalis said
Can hear you.
that I have chosen them before even my
Can
incarnation.
you increase your volume? I can't hear you properly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. So let me try. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, better.
Uh-huh. Okay. So Mehra represented the creation in this avataric time. She represented the illusion. For that, representation doesn't mean she was it. She was for creation. She was for the illusion. So obviously, she needed to be completely pure in order to play that role for Baba's universal work in this Advent. And that was all by Baba's design. It has nothing to do with accident. Accident means it wasn't coincidentally and so forth. For the 1952 accident, Mehera actually broke the part of her front head and so forth. So she was one of the people that hurted the most among the women. But that was the suffering that they all had to do along with Baba. More than anybody, Baba got hurt in that accident, but he said, I have to shed my blood in the West. I have to shed my blood. So Baba did it. And obviously people who were with him took some of that pain. But there is a saying that Moni, I don't remember the source, but Moni, Baba's sister, talks about it, that Baba took a great pain, a lot of pain, to keep and sustain Mehera as who she is and keep her completely pure, like everybody else who said, for the sake of humanity and so forth. And Mehera was able to play that role so well because of her love for Baba. Her love for Baba was completely one-pointed. There was nothing else. And so she played that role, the role that Radha prayed for Krishna, Mary Magdalene prayed for Christ, and so forth. But in this Advent, Mehera played that role for Baba. So she had to be pure, and no man should see her. She wouldn't be able to read newspaper or write and so forth. Just toward the end, even men Mandeli were not able to say. Just toward the end, Baba opened the gate. So from the far distance, they would just say, Jai Baba, like that. Anyway, but everybody else said pretty much the same thing.
Yeah, so it's something that we will probably continue to, I would even say, speculate, because there's no clear answer Baba has definitively given. But obviously, from the, like I said, outcome or results perspective, many things have changed. Many things have changed in this Avataric Advent for women. And more importantly, I think for me, the fact that he wanted to make an example of, so again, given that love is the core of Baba's teaching, and how he wants to give it the prominence so that people rediscover and go to our true selves, where we start loving God, right? So he wanted to set the world's best example, or creation's best example, of how to love him. And he has taken great pains to achieve that. And those great pains included all the minutiae of the rules that he set around how Mehera should behave, is one way of looking at it. Ravi, your turn.
Yeah, I think what all I was going to explain has been explained very well explained by Mehru and Sanjay and Nehaji. Only one point I would like to add is that Baba said that she was so pure that the only person who really loves him as he ought to be loved was Mehera. Because of that state, I think Baba said that she is God also. She is God. That's what he said. That's what I just want to add. Yeah, she represented most importantly, what Bauji was telling us was she represented as Mahuji said, creation. And every avataric period, there one woman plays a very important role, and that is totally different from any other mandali. Every mandali member circle member has office to take care, and she takes up the most important office, that is creation, this illusion. And Baba also works in this illusion by the laws that govern the illusion, Maya, cause and effect, all these things. That's all I just want to add. Jai Baba, thank you.
Jai Baba, Jai Baba. Okay, so any others before we continue reading? Okay, so Mamaji, back from your travels, so why don't you want to read? Are you comfortable reading now? Okay, I think he's not
What is there? I can.
Right.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry.
Please.
I was muted. Okay.
Okay. So let's
Okay.
give
I will
Mama Ji
continue.
a turn, and then Ashish can continue. Baba was very fond. We start from that. Jai Baba.
Baba was very fond of music, and as I have said, he was a very beautiful and sweet voice. Sometimes Baba would sing in the early mornings, and so lovely was his voice that he could sing beautifully even before brushing his teeth and having tea. Early one morning, after he had quickly rolled up our bedding and put it aside, splashed our faces with cold water, and brushed our teeth, we were rushing to make tea for Baba. I was pumping the kerosene stove, which is very noisy, when my mother said, "Listen, you can't hear because of the stove, but Baba is singing. How beautifully he is singing." As we listened, we could hear Baba's voice coming nearer and nearer. He was singing a new song, not a kawali, but an ordinary song with a pretty tune. At first, we stayed in the middle of the room as we knew Baba would not like us to stare at him from the windows, but we could still see out. Baba's voice came still nearer. And then around the corner of the post office, he came and we saw him. It was just at the crack of dawn, and the dawn light was on his lovely face. So beautiful, he looked in his white sadra with his hair loose, and as he sang, he danced so gracefully. It was just a glimpse for a few seconds, but the sight of Baba dancing and singing in the dawn light is something I shall never forget. As Baba turned towards the corner of the veranda, we rushed to the window to see more, but he had gone from our sight. But we did see him for those few seconds, so slim and beautiful in a white sadra, dancing and singing spontaneously because he was happy. Baba would often walk on the veranda of the post office singing Qawwali songs, which were his favorite kind, but he never would finish the whole song. Baba would just sing the 3 or 4 lines that he liked best in the song and sing those lines again and again. This particular day, Baba was walking back and forth on the veranda singing a few lines from a song, while we girls sat peeling the garlic. Baba came up to us and said, "You are listening to my singing, but do you understand the meaning?" It was a Qawwali song written in high Urdu, and I had only learned enough Urdu to talk to our servants when I was a child. "No, Baba, we don't understand it at all," we replied. So he explained it to us. Its meaning in English is, if in the midst of enjoyment, masti, you remember the beloved, then that is love. At that time, you must have your head on his feet. If in the midst of enjoyment, that is masti, you remember the beloved, then that is love. At that time, you must have your head on his feet. There is no exact word in English for masti. It means being engrossed in something you love doing, seeing a beautiful film, enjoying good food, talking happily to someone. It is that feeling of happiness that does not have to do with the beloved. With the beloved. So the song says, even if when you are enjoying yourself, your head is on his feet, then you are loving him. So any comments on this? I will continue the next paragraph also. Having your head on his feet in plain words means remembering the beloved, thinking of him, so that when you are thinking of him, your love is for him at that moment and not for what you are engrossed in. And that is how he should be loved. It is very difficult to do this when you are eating very tempting food. You think of the food and not of Baba. But if you remember Baba, that is love. Now, before meals at Mehera, we say Baba's Jai, and I say to Baba, come, eat with us. Invite Baba to be with you, to eat with you, and Baba will feel happy that you have thought of him. One morning, Baba was sitting on his carpet on the post office floor. He called me and told me to sit down and then asked me, do you know any English songs? No, Baba, I said. I don't know any songs and I don't even have a good singing voice. Never mind, Baba replied. When I ask you to sing, you must sing. Don't you remember any song that you sang at school? Baba knew that I did know a song, but I could not think of one at all. With Baba, one would sometimes go blank and forget what one knew. Try to think of one, Baba said. I thought and then remembered this one English song that I had sung with the girls at my school. It was called Swanee, not way down upon the Swanee River, but Swanee, how I love you, my dear old Swanee. I felt very shy, but I had to sing it for Baba and he liked it very much. Now sing it again, he told me. I want to learn it. So Baba repeated each line after me, and in a few minutes he had learned the whole song. The next morning we heard Baba loudly singing Swanee, and he sang it beautifully. Baba told us that this was his first English song he had sung, and I was very happy that he had learned it from me. Once Baba even taught us a song, a whole song, not just 4 lines. It was a song to Krishna. He called us girls to sit in front of him and he taught us so sweetly line by line. Naja and I did not have strong singing voices, but both big and small Khorshid did, and so we learned a song from Baba. In those very early days, at post office, Baba would sometimes let things slip, and many of the things that he told us then have since come true. Once at this time, Baba said to us, one day I will bring out my sword. We looked at Baba feeling very startled and not knowing what he could possibly mean. In his white sadra with his hair loose and flowing, Baba looked so loving and gentle. At that time, we had never heard of the Kali Yuga avatar, nor had Baba told us who he is. Now that we know that Holy Book calls this age of Kali Yuga, this age, the Kali Yuga, and that the avatar of this age is always shown riding a white horse with a drawn sword in his hand. We understand what Baba meant.
If I pause you here, I think this reference to Kali Yuga and Avatar is also probably confused with Kalki, maybe, because
Yes, yes,
I think the reference to the white horse and sword is more Kalki-like than anything, right? So,
yes.
anyway, yeah, okay. Maybe another page
For
and then we'll rotate again.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that
For
song is
thousands of
Shyam Sundar ki Lagan Jab Lagi, Sarson
Huh.
Phuli Bagan Mein. I think that is the song. Gopi's recording is available. So, yeah,
Oh,
that
okay,
song he
okay.
generally sings. Yeah, that's the song it is being mentioned. And that Swani poem, Karthik, if you could find out on the net if it is available and share on the
Yeah,
Telegram, because you'll have to
sure.
use those words too. There are a couple of poems with the same similar name. So, yeah,
Correct, correct. One is a
yeah.
very obvious love song, and yeah, so I'll try to do that. Yes.
For thousands of years, the avatar has come and again to tell us how to behave. In different ways, he has told us to practice good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, but we have not listened. Now, as a mother has to bring out a stick to her children who will not listen, so Baba will have to bring out his sword to make his children heed him. This I feel will happen. Baba was very energetic, and of course, he was young and beautiful. During these early days before Baba had the post office enclosed, we would see him walking so fast through the fields, back and forth from the post office to the old house, now Dharamshala, that the Mandli were repairing. In the evenings at twilight, Baba sat on floor with my mother and us girls, and we massaged his feet and legs. Baba loved to have music at that time, so often we sang him little songs. Sometimes Baba used to tell us funny stories, and sometimes he would say, "Now you tell me some funny stories." When Baba asked me, I told him that I had never read any funny stories. We were always studying at school and had no time for such books. The other girls told Baba, we only know a very short one. And Baba sweetly said, no matter how short it is, tell me. So they did, and Baba enjoyed the story very much. But the next time Baba asked for a funny story, the girls had to tell him that they did not know anymore. Never mind, Baba said, tell me the same one again. So they repeated the story, and Baba enjoyed it as much as he had the first time. Was very childlike and enjoyed fun and funny things like young schoolboy. Baba liked to hear of funny incidents in people's lives, and he himself was very witty and clever. With the slightest excuse, Baba would find humor in a situation, and he used to amuse everybody. Baba had so much serious work on his mind, and he told us that humor lightened the burden of it. He was so lovely, Baba was. He still is beautiful, but you cannot see him. At the post office one day, I think just Baba, myself, and my mother were present. Baba told me, sit down. So I sat on the floor in front of him. Of course, he was also sitting on the floor. We had no chairs. Do you like
Jai
working and
Baba,
staying here?
Jai Baba,
Yes,
Jai Baba. Sorry, Mamaji.
yes,
Could you read this line again? He still is beautiful, but you cannot see him.
yes, he's
What is the meaning of this line?
I think it is a post facto line. I think after Baba's leaving his body,
Uh-huh.
this may be referring to that. He still is
He's
beautiful,
still
but you
beautiful.
cannot see. He still is
He's still
beautiful, but
beautiful.
you. Uh,
That means Mehera,
You
what
cannot
Mehera
see
is
him.
trying to say here.
Yeah, it's not
He's
I think she's
very.
he
saying,
still is beautiful,
yeah.
but you cannot see him.
that is maybe Mehra is able to see him, but we are not able to see him. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because most of this is captured as talks and
Yes.
made
Correct,
into
correct.
text. So
Edited
when
from
she must
there.
be talking, she's saying she is still so beautiful, but you're not able to see his real beauty.
Yes.
Not the physical, but I think it is capturing the real beauty of God.
Yeah.
I think she was
Yeah.
just
Yes,
remembering. I think she
yes.
was just remembering him in those days, and now she's feeling
Uh-huh.
uh, her memories are still so beautiful, though we cannot see him. That's what she meant, probably.
We
Yes.
we can
Nice.
continue. Yeah,
Mhm.
good
Yes. Nice
spotting.
observation, and then discussion on that. So this is sort of an extrapolation of times here. She was telling a story, and then
Yeah, yeah.
suddenly she is coming back to
Move
the
to
age
current.
when this was discussed, I think.
And talking of Baba liking jokes, I was reading once again in the Glow article. She's saying all these ladies were with Baba for 6 months in 1948, Delia Leon and the one who wrote Avatar, Jean Andrel and others. And Baba would ask them to tell them jokes in the evening, and and generally people do not, at least I do not remember any jokes if somebody just suddenly ask, and there was a book these girls picked up, and they would practice and remember jokes during the day. If Baba asks us to tell jokes, then they will say these jokes, they would practice for it to please Baba. Jai Baba.
Wow. I think we have a lot to learn from the Mandali and the immediate Mandali, Eastern, Western, on how they have treated him. And of course, we will never get to experience it. But yeah, you want to continue, Mama? You were at probably then from today. Maybe you can read again from do you like working and staying here?
Somebody can continue.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Sure. Ashish, you want to go?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
At the post
Yeah,
office?
yeah. At the
Read
post
again, yeah.
office, yeah, at the post office one day, in bracket, I think just Baba, myself, and my mother were present. Baba told me, sit down. So I sat on the floor in front of him. Of course, he was also sitting on the floor. We had no chairs. Do you like working and staying here? He asked me. Yes, Baba. I love to be here and to be serving you, I replied. Then from today, you are my orderly, Baba told me. Orderly? I said, Baba, I don't know what orderly means. Baba explained that it meant I was to look after his clothes, his trunk, see to his, yeah, see to his, can you scroll down, Karthik?
Yeah.
See to his tea, wash his clothes, and so on. And I was very happy. Take my things from Gustaji, and you are now to be everything for me, he said. Up until now, Gustaji had been the only one permitted to touch Baba's things. So from that day on, I began attending to Baba. When he wanted to wash his face, I would get the water ready, and then I would pour the water into his hands and give him the soap, and again pour water for Baba to rinse his face and hands, and give him the towel. When Baba shaved, I gave him his razor, and I made his tea and served him his food. I felt so happy and proud to be allowed to wash Baba's clothes. I loved washing his clothes. We girls all went together to that well on the roadside, which Baba drank from the very first time he came to Meherabad in 1923. The road was empty except for the occasional farmer or bullock cart passing by. There was a lovely stone parapet around the well that is not there now, and on that we washed the clothes. With a small bucket, we drew water from the well and washed the stones clean. Then I washed Baba's clothes, and after that, we washed our own. While we did the washing, we could see Baba coming and going through the fields. It was very beautiful time. Back at the post office, I tied a separate line to dry Baba's clothes, and while they were still a little damp, I folded his sadras in the clean sheet and pressed them with my hands so that when I unfolded them, they looked ironed, and again I aired them and then put them in Baba's trunk. In December 1924, Baba took us to Bombay on the night train. In those days, there was no direct train, so we had to change trains at dawn in the middle of the night. Baba told us to be ready to leave by 5 o'clock, and it was December and would be chilly on the way. He told us to take our warm things and not to catch colds. We got our things ready, and I had my warm, pink knitted coat lying on my packed bedding. My mother loved to crochet and knit, and she had knitted it for me while I was still at school. It was very loose and came almost to my knees, but it was warm, so I always kept it with me. The pink was a pretty color, not too bright, and it had a white band knitted into the border. Baba came into our room with a bundle of light pinkish mauve cloth in his hand, and to our surprise, he threw his bundle onto the big cotton carpet on our floor, still holding one end in his hand. Baba then started to wrap the cloth around his head very quickly, looking so beautiful with a slight turn of his head. This slight turn of his head this way, then that way until his hair was hidden inside a turban. Baba did not want his hair to be seen while we were traveling. Then he asked us, "Are you all packed and ready? We have to leave in 15 minutes. Have you left your warm things out?" Baba saw my pink coat lying on my bedding and picked it up, asking, "Whose is this?" "It's mine, Baba. It's mine, Baba," I said. He put the coat on, and because it was knitted, it fitted him. "This is nice, warm coat," Baba said. "Remember to wear it if you feel cold on the train." Baba looked so lovely in the pink coat and pink turban. But before we got into the tanga to go to the station, he took the coat off. Now at night, when I think of Baba and remember every little thing that we did with him, I realize that this was the first pink coat that Baba had worn. Baba always wore white or almond color or very pale blue coats, not pink ones, but at Guru Prasad, Baba wore pink coat at darshan time. Someone had given it to him and it suited him. So we said, "Baba, why don't you wear it?" But the very first pink coat Baba wore had been knitted for me by my mother. We went by Tonga from the post office to the station. In those days, there were very few people at the train station. It was twilight when we arrived, and Baba told us to sit on a bench as we waited for the train. while we began walking from one end of the platform to the other, looking so beautiful in the kamili coat, sandals, sadra, and turban. As Baba walked, he began to sing quite loudly at each end of the platform where there were no people, and very softly as he passed us and others waiting for the train. Baba went back and forth singing loudly and then softly. It was so sweet to hear him, and it shows he loved music and singing, and how much he suffered in keeping silence for all those years. When the train came, the Mandali first rushed to find Baba's compartment. It was very small, one with two seats only, one for Baba and one for Gustaji. Baba told us that we were to sit in the ladies' compartment. Then he got into his tiny compartment and Gustaji pushed his bedding inside. While we were waiting on the bench for the Mandali to find the ladies' compartment, Baba sent Gustaji to call me to him. Oh, what's happened? I thought, have I made a mistake? What could I have done that has made Baba send for me? Send for me. I went to Baba's compartment and climbed in. Baba was very sweet. He told me to sit down and said, massage my feet. So, so I massaged Baba's feet for about half a minute. And then he said to me, you know, if you massage my feet every day without fail, I will make you like a Baba Jan. I was so surprised. I had never even thought of such a thing. I had never aspired for such greatness to become like a Baba Jan. I only wanted to be with Baba, to love him, and to serve him. But what could I say? So I just said, yeah, Baba. But Baba knew I would not be able to massage his feet in Bombay without missing a day. He kept silence there, there for 7 days and fasted for some days too. And at that time, no one could even enter his door. Baba had wanted to see how I would feel about it and what I would say. It was very naughty of Baba to say that, but very sweet too. He had to startle people sometimes with certain things. On that visit to Bombay in December 1924, he stayed at Bharucha building in Dadar, not far from Manzil Mim, and it was during this visit that Baba composed the Gujarati Aarti. Baba's room in Bharucha building was at the far end of hall next to Gustaji's, and after Gustaji's was yet another room. We women, my mother, myself, and Naja were in the last room along that hallway, and next to our room was the kitchen. During the day, we were with my mother in the kitchen preparing the food, and when Baba left his room, Gustaji showed me how to make Baba's bed and clean his room and bathroom. And I washed Baba's clothes and kept his trunk tidy too. Sometimes in the evening, Baba called my mother and and us girls to sit with him in his room, and sometimes a singer would come to sing for Baba. I remember I remember too that one morning Baba told us that he had had no sleep at all that night, but had stayed up to listen to a ghazal singer. That shows how much Baba loved beautiful music. At this time, 1924, Baba was still speaking, but in Bombay, as I have said, he kept silence for about 7 days. I think Baba must have wanted to see how it would feel to be silent. Baba also fasted, taking only weak tea made with few tea leaves and a little mint. We kept a tea tray for Baba on which there were a small teapot, a sugar bowl, and a cup, and we were very particular to see that it was kept spotlessly clean. Naja made Baba's tea. I took the tea tray to the door of his room, and Baba took the tray from me at the door. One day, Baba saw a tiny ant somewhere on the tray. Ants are a great problem in Bombay, and this one little ant must have been hiding underneath the tray, and they crawled up to the top when I gave it to Baba. Baba was very upset. There are ants near my tea and a sugar pot. Why are you so careless? He said, and Baba threw the teapot into the bathroom where it shattered into pieces. We quickly made Baba some more tea and took it to him. Though we have done our best, Baba taught us to be still more tidy and clean. One day at Bharucha building, Baba was, as we say in Gujarati, quite out of mood. I did not know why then, and I still do not know. I never asked. It must have had something to do with Baba's work, but he was in very fiery mood. It was in the morning around 9 or 10 o'clock, and Baba began to get angry with every little thing we did. Then Baba suddenly said, why are you all here? Get out at once. We got very scared. Baba told Naja, you leave first. Take your trunk and bedding with you. Your father will take you to the train station, and you are to board the first train and go straight to Pune. Oh my, poor Naja said, half weeping. Where is my trunk? Where are my clothes? She began to show her thing into the trunk as fast as she could because she did not want to be displeased or disobey Baba. As there was no porter, Masaji, her father, had to carry the trunk himself as an unheard of things in those days when there were many servants. Both of them came downstairs and went out into the street with the trunk on Masaji's head.
I think those
I
were the
felt
days when everybody in on trains had, used porters, and more importantly, I think we also traveled very heavy. So for a 2 day trip, I think you needed a trunk.
yeah, I felt very sorry for Naja. I did not know my turn was also coming. After Naja left, Baba turned to me and said, why are you standing there? Get out at once and don't come here again. I don't want to see you. I do not know what other things Baba said. He was very angry and speaking very loudly. Baba had said at once, so I had no time to pack. I just started walking in the clothes I was wearing in the house, which had dull stains on them, old sandals, and with a matha banu on my head. I do not know what I looked like. Baba just stood there, still very angry. So I went quickly down the steps onto the pavement and started walking. I did not know
Matabanu
my
is a Matabanu is the scarf, if you remember from last week. Yeah, the scarf, the head scarf, the head scarf.
it's
Yeah.
I did not know my way around Bombay, but I knew that Naja had gone to the Dadar train station, so I set off in that direction. Then, then I got the urge to look back to see which was Baba's window and which was our window and how far I had come. I turned and very timidly looked up. Baba was looking out the window. He he called out very angrily to me, why are you looking up? Don't look up. Go at once. So I started walking again, but I walked very slowly, thinking, what am I to do? Where am I to go? In those days in Bombay, there was hardly a person or a car on the streets. And as I was walking so slowly and wondering what to do, I heard footsteps behind me. I turned and what do you think? I saw Baba. He was walking very quickly towards me with Gustaji and looking very stern. Baba passed me without saying a word, but I was so happy to see him. Baba was there, and so I did not feel lost anymore. Then Gustaji gestured to me to follow. A little further on, Baba turned into the street of a Parsi follower's house. They had a small shop with their house, and Baba went into the shop. I was still following Baba at a distance, and I felt relieved to see him go inside. That meant he was not going to the station. So I came to the gate of the house and waited, thinking, when Baba comes out, I will follow him. I don't know where to go in Bombay, and he has not told me not to follow. And when Baba came out, he said to me, come on. So Baba and Gustaji walked ahead, and I walked behind. I found that while Baba was at the Parsi's place, he had told one of the family to go to the station, which must have been quite near, to call Naja and Masaji back. So they too came back with Masaji still carrying the trunk on the top of his head. Only 1 minute more, and Naja would have been on the train back to Pune. How happy and relieved we felt. We had been very frightened when Baba sent us away. We did not want to go home. We wanted only to stay with Baba. So Baba saw that we obeyed his orders. And every time you obey Baba, you please him and make him happy. We never asked Baba why this happened. There is always some reason with Baba. One morning, Baba told us, put on some better saris. We are going for an outing. We were very excited. We had only been in our room and the kitchen at the Barucha building for quite some days, and we were very happy to be going outside the house. Baba took us to the park called Victoria Gardens. This we found consisted of some gardens, a small zoo, and a path where Baba could take a long walk. Baba told us, I'm going for a walk. You all can do whatever you like. We knew that Baba did not want us to be with him, that he wanted to walk alone. So we watched him stride away with the fast pace of his, and we went to look at the nearby zoo. Unfortunately, we were there at the time the animals' cages were being cleaned, and the smell was rather strong. When the cleaning was over, Baba had not yet returned, so we watched the zookeeper feed big chunks of meat to the lions. After perhaps an hour, Baba came back from his walk, and we returned to Barucha building. The next day, Baba again told us to put on our better saris, and he again took us to Victoria Gardens. Off he went for his walk, and we once again watched the animals' cages being cleaned and the lion devouring their big chunks of meat. When on the third day, Baba told us that we were going out, I timidly asked, where are we going, Baba? Victoria Gardens, Baba replied. We had seen all that there was to see there, and we must have looked a little dismayed because Baba changed his mind and took us somewhere else. I am telling this story about Victoria Gardens because Baba then told us of another time he had visited there when he was still known as Merwan. It was much earlier at a time during those years between Baba Jan's kiss and Baba's long stay with Upasni Maharaj. Baba was in a different state in those days. He told us that he had stayed in Bombay for some time and that while there he had often walked in Victoria Gardens. On this particular day, a Parsi man with his family was sitting on one of the benches that Baba passed by on his walk. Suddenly, this Parsi man jumped up and slapped Baba's face loudly, accusing him for gazing at the woman in his family. But the Baba's stare was because of his state. We were so shocked how humiliating this must have been for Baba. Baba was so pure, and yet for our sake, he had to put up with being misunderstood like this. I remember another outing that Baba took us on while we were at the Barucha building. Chanji, Haramrod's
Jai Baba,
Sa-
Jai Baba. Sorry to interrupt you. This Victoria Garden is really special. Try and visit if you are traveling. Whoever is going to Mumbai, it has Baba's energy. It has Baba's
So,
energy. It's really beautiful.
Nehaji, Nehaji, is this now the
Ah,
Baikala Jew?
yes, yes, same.
Yeah, Baikala Jew, right?
Yes,
So I
yes,
think this is
Bhaikala.
the first time Baba. One is that he is unobserved, he is alone.
Ah.
Not the first time, but one of the times, and he is with the animal kingdom all at a time. All those
Yes,
animals.
yes,
Yes, yes, that's
yes,
something. That is
absolutely.
something.
You go there and
Yeah,
there is so much. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful.
yeah.
Oh, it's
So he's
really
with the animal
nice.
kingdom. Yeah, so he's working
Ah,
with the animal kingdom.
yes.
Yeah, yes,
Must
yes.
visit. It's must visit. Yes.
I I remember another outing that Baba took us on a while we were at Barucha building. Chanji, Faramroz Dada Chanji, who at this time had recently come to Baba, own a cinema in Bombay, and of course, he wanted Baba to visit this cinema. One day, Baba again told us, "Put on your good saris. We are going to the cinema." Another outing. How happy we felt. We were very young then and still new to Baba and not yet accustomed to the cloistered life that we were beginning to lead. Naturally, Chanji gave Baba the very best seats, and we all sat upstairs in the private box. This was the first film that we had seen for a long time, and it was a very good silent one about. I still remember Marie Antoinette and the French Revolution. We were engrossed in the story when all of a sudden Baba got up and told us, "We are leaving." I was very surprised. I did not know then that Baba had this habit of walking out in the middle of the films. So we left with Baba, and as we were going out, we kept glancing over the shoulders to try to catch a last glimpse of that film. Meherbao returned to Mehrabad from Barucha building in Bombay in late January 1925, and a new phase of his work began. He was in residence at Mehrabad for the next 2 years until late November 1926, and this period has sometimes been called the first great stay at Mehrabad. Mehrabad was now transformed from a deserted military camp into a thriving settlement. Mandali, who had been sent to their homes, began to return. Baba opened Meher Charitable Dispensary and Hospital, began the Hazrat Babajan School, gave darshan to the large crowds who were now coming every Thursday, and had built many temporary buildings of bamboo matting of what is now Lower Mehrabad to house the new resident and activities. Baba stayed in the tiny stone room across the road from the post office, known as a Jhopdi. As the Jhopdi, he supervised every detail of the activities at Mehrabad, and during this intensely busy phase, Baba fasted, wrote the book, lit the dhuni for the first time, and began his silence. Mehera, Daulat Mai, Naja, and small Khurshid returned to the post office and were joined by Big Khurshid, Baba's sister-in-law, Sunamasi, small Khurshid's mother, and from time to time, Daula Masi, Baba's aunt. Mani also come to stay during her school holidays, accompanied by Shirin Mai. As always, since joining Baba, they slept on mats on the floor. Amidst the hustle and bustle of Mehrabad, their lives were very secluded. A bamboo matting fence was built to enclose the post office, and they did not leave this compound, except for Baba and Gustaji, who had a storeroom on the post office veranda. Men were forbidden to enter their quarters. After our return to
Yeah.
Mehrabad, Baba, for some reason, decided to send us to Sakuri for a few days. We got ready to leave, then went to say goodbye to Baba, who was waiting for us on the post office veranda. Baba came first to my mother. Take care of yourself and look after your health, he told her. And then Baba embarrassed her. Baba then turned to Naja. Naja, come here. I will embarrass you because you are my cousin. And Baba embarrassed Naja. And now I won't embarrass anyone else, he said. I was standing there and I cannot describe how I felt. I just ran away. I wanted Baba to embarrass me too, but he embarrassed only my mother and Naja, not me. And then we left for Sapuri.
Okay, as we continue, any thoughts on the reason why Baba used movies or the way he used movies? Because there are multiple incidents of Baba visiting
Yeah.
theaters and seeing movies. And also, like Mehera mentions, in many of those incidents, Baba used to walk away in the middle, right in the middle of the movie, right? So even at not an interval or anything, suddenly he'll get up and say, yes, we are done, let's go. So
To
any
just
thoughts on what
I
Baba could
think
be
during
doing
his
there?
first visit to Hollywood, Baba had mentioned the importance of movies, that movies as a medium can help the people to turn towards spirituality. So Baba's interaction with the movie world was there, and he always wanted to see movies. Just that thought was coming while we were reading about this movie that Baba saw in Mumbai, that probably we must, whatever we read, there are movies mentioned, then we can probably make a list of the movies that Baba saw. Many he saw even in Ahmednagar, and then try to locate YouTube links. So whenever we have time, we can watch them. There must be a reason that Baba selected those movies to see.
Yeah. I
I think
recently read
Yeah.
about a Charlie Chaplin movie that Baba saw, Great
Yes.
Dictator,
Yes.
and he
Yeah.
said everybody should see it. And I remember as a
Mm.
kid, I just loved that movie, and I have seen it. I mean, it used to come on television, and I've seen it
Mm.
multiple times. So yeah,
Mm.
it's
and the
it's the
reason
Charlie Chaplin movie
Yeah.
where he has that Hitler-like mustache, and it's the war.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's a very famous film,
Yes.
and the last speech, especially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, uh, Actually, Baba himself given this explanation that it's like a group energy. He works on the group energy, and the group energy are very intense when they watch films. So he
Mm.
works on the mind energy, group energy. So that was his explanation somewhere uh, about this. I
Movies.
work on movies, so that was his explanation. I don't
but
remember
he was
exactly.
living
Sorry.
Yes. You are emotively high when through 200 people watching a movie, they are at a different level mentally,
Yes,
and Baba
yes, the
is. It makes
intensity
them
and the
easy for him to work with them. Yeah.
yes.
Jai Baba. Yeah.
but he was living in the middle of the movie also, right? So might be the reason was just to showcase this is not the truth. That might be one of the reason.
No.
So to
That's
just
when his work is done, he goes for another work. If he
Yeah.
is not there to watch the movie, particularly enjoying the story of the movie, but his work was something else, which we think that Baba was watching a movie, but there was something else he was doing using that medium.
Probably to awaken some
Yeah.
people who came to the movie.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a photograph here. There's Baba, and is that the post office building? Is that the Samadhi? I don't know. The stones
Jopri,
look. Anyway, there's a uh, explanation. So let's read that.
It is
So
a
that
post office building.
post
Yeah.
office,
yeah,
post office,
yeah.
post office.
You read it.
Where
let's
Baba's birthday is. Yeah,
let-
Ashish, you want to read or?
yeah, I can
Yeah,
read.
you read. Yeah.
Meher Baba's birthday celebration on the Meherabad post office veranda in 1925. Baba is seated and the woman standing behind Baba are Daulat Mai, Small Khurshid, Dina Talai, Gulmai,
Talati,
Baba's
Talati, Talati.
Dina
Yeah,
Talati.
the
Talati.
name is Dina Talati. There is a typo.
Okay, Dina Talati, Gulmai, Baba's mother Shirinmai, and Pilamai of Karachi. Behind Gulmai and Shirinmai are standing sisters, Freni and Mehera, and Padri's mother, Freni Masi, who is partially out of view behind Shirinmai and Pilamai. The young child standing to Baba's left is his
Take it a
sister.
bit down so that whatever is reading, we are able to relate. Actually, reading the words
Yeah, yeah.
is funny actually, but probably not possible because the screen is. So you have to make it a bit,
We
but you
can.
can't make
We
out the
can.
faces. Then we can't read or make the faces. Funny.
Yeah, I
Okay,
know.
read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Behind
Okay,
Baba's
read it.
Daulat Mai.
Read the way you were reading. Yeah.
Read again. Read again. Read again
I
so
will
that
read
we'll
again.
try to. Yeah.
Behind Babar Daulat Mai. So this is Daulat. Yeah, Daulat Mai. We just got Daulat Mai. Small
Correct.
Khurshid. Then Dina Talati, Gulmai. Then Baba's mother, Shirin Mai. Okay, and Pilamai of Karachi. Behind Gulmai and Shirin Mai are standing sisters Feni and Mehra, and Padri's mother, Feni Masi, who is partially out of view behind Shirin Mai and Pilamai. The young child standing to Baba's left is his sister Mani. Oh, young child. Yeah.
Yeah, there
Okay.
is a behind
About the Topi
behind the
Wala.
black cap. Behind the black
Yeah.
cap.
Yeah.
Behind the
Yeah.
black
Yeah.
cap. Yeah.
This one.
Oh, she's so small. Yeah. So
On
Baba
Baba's
is only
right.
30 years. 30 years at this point, 31 years, and she was 14 years younger to Baba. So she must be just 14, 15 years of age.
On Baba's right, holding a child
No,
is
much younger. Just see.
Much younger?
Yeah. Just see this photograph. It's
Yeah,
No, no.
from the
1925.
photograph.
But by age,
1925.
how many years Mani was younger to Baba? When was Mani born?
Oh, I have to check.
We have to check that. Yeah, even I thought 14 years was the age difference.
No, more than that.
More than that. Okay.
on Baba's right,
Anyway,
holding a child is Khan Sahib. Baba's uncle, Ferdun, long
Mani was
beard,
born in 1918.
1918.
okay, 23
Yes,
years.
So then
Wow,
that small
23
baby,
years.
1918.
20.
1918.
then the small baby,
Okay.
that small baby sitting on the lap.
No,
No,
not that one.
No,
The
no.
behind the black cap fellow. On Baba's left, there is a black cap
I
person
think that's
sitting. Behind
Gustadji.
that, there is a
That's
child.
Gustadji,
And then behind
isn't
that, there
it?
is a girl. Yeah.
Behind
I'm
Gustadji.
not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A small girl is there, right side. At the
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Small
Yeah.
girl is there.
That's the one. So she 18 means 18 plus 6. 24 years younger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, you have the last paragraph to read. I mean, this second paragraph, third paragraph. Yeah, on Baba's right.
On Baba's right, holding a child is Khan Sahib. Baba's uncle, Ferdun, long beard, Masaji, and Behramji. Gustaji standing to Baba's right with his arm across his chest and
Wait, we'll just see if we can.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Which one is Gustadji?
I'm not able to tell because he's standing, it says.
On the right, there is one person. Gustaji typical wore half jacket, without the sleeves. So that's the one who is standing with his hands folded. That's Gustaji,
Yeah,
I
he
think.
looks like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how. And Gustaji was a very small person as a persona.
As
He was
a
a very
build,
tiny
okay.
man. Yeah, as a small build person.
That's
All lucky
Gustaji
people who
to
are there, looks like, right? They're all very fortunate.
So
Gustaji.
to his right, there are two people. Just
Gustaji standing to Baba's right with his arm across his chest and Kaiku Kurshu. Khushru
Kai
Masa.
Khushru.
Kai Khushru Masa is seated at Gustaji's right. Ramju and Rustam K. Irani are by far left Pandal pole, and Padri is behind Gustaji and Daulat Mai. So Ramju and Rustam K. Irani are far left Pandal. So at the end, maybe the Ramju and Rustam K. Irani.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So near the Pandal pole. Yeah.
Yeah. Ramju must be very young, right? That time, because
Ramju Abdullah must be around Baba's age. Gustaji was older than Baba. Few years.
Yeah.
His son used to be in Mumbai and then used to talk about Baba many times. Ranju Abdullah's son.
Yeah. Ali, I think, right? I met him.
Ali, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. Jai
Good.
Baba.
Beautiful. Nostalgic. If we may say so.
Indeed.
Ramju Abdullah's son got married to what's his name? His daughter, right? Whose daughter? Baba's friend.
I don't know.
Gustaji?
Huh?
Whose
Chaudhary
daughter?
Gani's daughter.
Gani's daughter.
Oh, Abdul Ghani's daughter. Okay.
Wow,
Interesting.
wow.
Because Abdul
So-
Ghani, when he was passing away, Ramju Abdullah's son was there, and he was chanting Baba's name when he was passing away.
Okay, we are out of time. But before we wrap up, I have a question. Let's we can wrap up on the recording and then continue the question. The